My question to you is, should Robbie Ashford play more for Auburn against LSU than he did against Georgia? I was kind of shocked that he didn't play more against Georgia with some of those runs that he had, and you've got LSU who can't figure it out on defense right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the numbers, Peyton Thorne is on pace to throw for less yards than Robbie Ashford did last year. I'll say this. I think, again, a lot of it is circumstantial with where Auburn's at from the quarterback position. I think Peyton Thorne did a good job against Georgia, 2 weeks ago, putting balls in spots to give guys chances. The problem, again, it's a combination of things. Peyton Thorne hasn't been great throwing the ball. And also, Auburn's wide receiver room, to be honest with you, is deficient, especially on the outside. They've got some guys on the interior at the slot. They got some guys on the interior like Rivaldo Fairweather at tight end that they can line up outside and can do some damage. But until Shane Hooks and Camden Brown and some of these other guys really come on, you're just going to be a one-trick pony in the passing game. And lately, it hadn't been that great of a trick. But here's where I think your question really has some merit, right? I watched Peyton Thorne go on the road at Cal, look really bad, look forced, did not look clean. I don't think he's thrown a ball away all year, to be honest with you. Then he went to Kyle Field and looked like he was in the middle of The Conjuring, or like Chucky was chasing him around somebody's bedroom. I mean, it was incredible. It led to us questioning his toughness after the game. So if you're going to be shook at Cal and you're going to be shook at Kyle Field, you're going down to Mordor in Death Valley. Yeah. I've been saying all week, like there's like orcs being born in the mud as you're walking in the stadium. You're getting flicked off by kids 3 hours early who were playing with Legos, legitimately for fun. They're that young. So that place is going to be rocking. The Auburn LSU series is really weird, but if Peyton Thorne early looks like he's shell-shocked and his eyes are as big as saucers, you got to put Robbie in there because you're going to have no chance. Even against this LSU defense, which, talk about weakness versus weakness, Auburn's passing game versus LSU's passing defense, I mean, it's basically a cripple fight, man.
Yeah, and LSU hasn't been able to stop the run very well either. I mean, no. That's why
Auburn can run it. Auburn can legitimately run the ball.
Yeah, well, not just with running backs too. That quarterback run element, and then the other part of my question was, okay, 2 weeks for Hugh Freeze to prepare for what they've seen out of this LSU defense that we know has problems. Do you think he's going to be able to get the RPO element of this offense going with that bye week and in the preparation, 2 weeks to prepare? I think he's taken over more of this offense from Philip Montgomery based on what he's saying in press conferences and things. Yeah. He's much more involved. Do you think the RPO element comes along a little bit, and are they able to keep this one within the spread of LSU this week?
I think they realized LSU was pressing on defense. LSU's, went to the 4 down. They tried to simplify things in the back end. I think you're going to get a ton of motions. I think you're going to get a ton of different formations. You're going to get some trade by the tight ends. Auburn's going to throw all the eye candy at LSU and run their stuff. But I think you're going to see a decent amount of the RPOs and things of that nature to try and get their eyes going left and right. And when you do that with LSU, you negate their athletic ability. And Auburn's going to have that because I think Auburn's going to be in a lot of 3rd and 3s. I think there's going to be a lot of 3rd and 3s and a lot of 3rd and 4s. LSU's probably going to load the box depending on the personnel that they get. We know Peyton Thorne can run well enough to be effective, but I think you're going to get jet sweep motions. I think you're going to get orbit motions. I think you're going to get wonky formations that motion into other wonky formations. You've had time to really get not into the bag of tricks, but get into the bag of a little bit of that eye candy. And when you do that, you get defenses a little bit guessing. They start playing on their heels. That's what I'm interested to see because Hugh Freeze, one of the best things he does is from a motion standpoint.
And they're going to need every bit of offensive production, of ball control, of points scored that they can get, Jake, because there is not, you mentioned, and I'll put that graphic up here again just so people can see that are watching on the podcast version. Look here at LSU's points predicted points added per play. Every play that they run on an average basis is getting them almost a half a point based off their production of this.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah, they have 44 explosive runs of 12 yards or more in the year, 39 explosive passes, and their 3rd and 4th down success rate is almost 60%, Jake. I mean, they're executing on offense at an unbelievable clip. Is Jaden Daniels, I mean, to me, I don't know why he's not getting talked about in the Heisman conversation.
Well, it's because they have 2 losses, and I get that, but at the end of the day, if he continues to do this, you got to start talking about it because LSU is going to keep winning until they play Bama if he keeps playing like that. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Right now, I think LSU has the best offense in the country. And people say,
yeah.
oh, what about USC? USC's elite offensively too. But I'll take LSU's offensive line over USC's offensive line. There is not one offense I would rather play less than LSU right now. Now, the biggest question for LSU, Jaden Daniels, you got to slide, brother. You run way too vertical not to be sliding or getting out of bounds. I watched a highlight tape of the hits that he's taken this year, and Jaden Daniels isn't exactly made out of bricks. Like, he isn't Tebow's size. We interviewed him. He gained 15 pounds, and we interviewed him in SEC Media Days, and he still looked thin. So he's got to protect himself because with him operating that offense with Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr., who may be the biggest freak on that offense when it comes down to it. Mason Taylor's back healthy. You've got a legitimate offensive line. The run game is really getting going. Jaden Daniels can extend the play from inside the pocket, outside the pocket. He's one of the best improvisers since Ryan Stiles from Whose Line Is It Anyway? I would rather play every other offense in the country than line up defensively against what LSU's doing right now. And Mike Denbrock it's a full menu. Must be fun. That must be a whole hell of a lot of fun to call plays
in his bag, man. He is in his bag for sure. I mean, he's able to call anything right now and get it going. And the thing that stinks about this is LSU has been very good offensively, but the one thing I'm worried about for Auburn is they've been really, really good defensively. Like, people don't give them enough credit, but they're injured right now. Austin Key's still out. Keontae Scott's still out. You got Jalen Simpson, who knows if he's going to play or not there in the back end of that defense. I mean, I just think that's a little unfortunate for Auburn right now with all the injuries they have.
Especially coming off the bye week, and you're in a depth situation with Hugh Freeze in year one. It's not his fault. Where you don't need, everybody needs to catch breaks, right? Injury wise. Auburn has to catch breaks and stay healthy. And listen, the biggest problem I think Auburn's going to have defensively in this game is they can't get a pass rush with 4. And against this offensive line, you can't get a pass rush against Jaden Daniels, he's going to eat you alive. To get pressure, Auburn has to bring pressure. And when you do that, you have to rob Peter to pay Paul. Now, do you zone pressure him, right? Do you keep everything in front and know that they're going to get big chunks and just hope that when you get in the red zone that you're able to hold them to field goals? I mean, that's what Hugh Freeze basically said in his press conference. I mean, if any of you guys know, like Brent Venables talking about Texas, if any of you guys know how to stop them, please let us know, because we're just going to try and keep them, to field goals in the red zone. And you try and limit possessions offensively for their offense by running the ball. I think that's all going to be baked in.
Oh, yeah. Do you think Eugene Asante is fast enough to be a spy on Jaden Daniels?
And I don't know how many guys are fast enough to actually legitimately be a spy on Jaden that don't play corner. Yeah. That's asking a lot. Jaden Daniels is absolutely skating out there.
I just know that Asante's a freak, so I didn't know if he was.
No, Asante's a freak. He's a hell of a player. But Jaden Daniels is literally just absolutely putting the roller skates on. It's incredible.